What's up, Pirate Nation? I'm Kevin Huebler. I'll be joined by my team of analysts shortly. Big East Media Day came and went on Wednesday. With that in the books, the most wonderful time of year, basketball season, of course, is right around the corner. Fall sports are winding down with volleyball hitting the road this weekend. To start the second half of conference play, they'll be at Xavier and Creighton on Friday and Sunday. Men's soccer sits on the outside looking in for the Big East Championships, which is just 4 short weeks away. We'll look at what they need to do to qualify. Oh, and remember that whole Media Day thing I mentioned? We'll break that down as well, plus what we heard in more preseason basketball news today. Stick around. This is Hall Talk. Welcome back to Hall Talk. I'm joined now by my panel, Dylan Schreibman, Matt Ambrose. Guys, Big East Media Day's in the books. We got a lot to talk about.
It's great. Basketball's finally back.
It's great. Glad to be here.
Let's jump right in. Men's basketball, obviously there were a whole lot of takeaways you could have taken from yesterday at Big East Media Day. A couple of guys making some headlines, the coaches as well. What did you guys take away from it? Matt, we'll start with you.
I think the biggest thing for me was listening to Kevin Huebler talk about his rotation for the upcoming year. We know this is one of his deepest teams he's had in a long time, with a lot of freshmen coming in and also the 4 seniors returning. But the surprising thing he said to me is that he said his rotation could be as deep as 10 or 11 guys, which, we look at the media guide, that's everyone on the roster pretty much. So, to have that kind of depth, I don't know if that is going to last into conference season or what, but to have that kind of depth for Huebler to say that, it's pretty surprising. And I think it's a good sign that many people, that many players on this roster have made an impact in practice so far.
And we've heard about also Angel Delgado saying Miles Cale, especially a guy we haven't seen yet, but also somebody that has been shown to know, that is known to have that talent. Dylan, what did you take away from it?
I think the surprise of the confidence of the team and even the coaches and players around Seton Hall in the Big East. You have Angel Delgado, which we'll get to later, saying, "Oh, I'm confident this team can go to the Final Four." You also have Kadeen Carrington, who says this team should get to the Sweet 16. And then you look around the conference, Providence coach Ed Cooley, very confident. He actually gave Seton Hall to finish first preseason in the Big East, which was very surprising, saying they have veterans and they know how to win, and they've actually won the Big East Championship a few years ago. So I thought that was the most surprising takeaway, just the confidence overall.
And also Jay Wright, who always is there to give Seton Hall praise, was at it again yesterday. Really a lot of positive takes on the Seton Hall squad.
The way those two teams have played, certainly there's room to be made for that praise. And of course, Ed Cooley probably had the quote of the afternoon with what we found out about his freshman. But also in men's basketball news, the coaches poll came out on Thursday for the USA Today, and we saw that the Seton Hall team is going to be 23rd in that USA Today coaches poll. So a lot of recognition being given to them nationally, and big attention coming from the coaches.
Absolutely, and I think it's really well-deserved. The work that this team has put in over the last couple of years, we go back to 3 years ago to start off, that disappointing stretch in Big East, then to come back the next year and win the Big East title. And then last year, I think is really what summed it up. Went into the year with not a lot of expectations with Isaiah Whitehead gone, and really, I think, outperformed all of that in Big East play. So I think this year, with all those players back, plus what they added, number 23 is a deserving ranking for them.
It's most definitely deserving, and you look at what they bring back. They bring back 4 seniors that are going to lead this team. They bring back 90% of their rebounding and scoring from last year. A lot of expectations that have been built up after last year, and I definitely think they can handle it.
And the only player out of that starting 5 that's gone is Madison Jones.
Yeah.
The rest of that starting 5 stays intact and a deeper bench.
Go ahead.
But Kevin Willard as well is confident Kadeen Carrington can move to that point guard position and start at point guard. Willard said at media yesterday he's confident it's Carrington's turn to actually run the team.
And we heard from Carrington. He said, last year I was trying to do a little bit too much with the ball. I wasn't comfortable in that position. He says this year he's a lot more comfortable. So we'll wait and see what happens with Carrington at that point. Obviously, he didn't have the greatest assist-to-turnover ratio last year, but it sounds like he's certainly going to be better at that. He's being pressured by Cale, who obviously we've heard is standing out in practice as well. Let's turn our attention now to women's basketball. Coach Tony Bozzella, he had obviously a lot of good things to say about his team. He always seems to have those, but the talent certainly is there for this team for Coach Tony Bozzella.
In the guard area of the team, absolutely, as it has been the last couple of years with the regulars, Jaquan Jackson, Kayla Hilaire, Katie Healy, and then adding a couple more players, Inja Patina and also Nicole Jimenez, who come on to this team. The problem I think they could face is down low in the post. Who is going to replace Libertia Gordon at the center position? Who is going to be able to grab rebounds for this team? Because that was their major drawback last year, and it's what caused them to lose a lot of games, was they're not good on the boards.
The biggest question coming in is rebounding, but the fast-paced style that they play, I think, suits the guard-heavy load that they have. Coach B is always amping up defense, especially when it comes to the most intense moments of the game, and definitely that's going to help them because they can get on transition. It's going to be the key is going to be tempo this year. If they can win the tempo battle, because rebounding is going to be a struggle, even though they bring in a few.
Timmy Evans coming in as a tall 6-foot center for this team. She's going to be a freshman. You also have Jayla Jones-Packer. Coach Bozella said she's probably the most improved player on this team, especially on the defensive end, which is where she struggled last year. So we'll wait and see what comes of that. We'll turn our attention now. It's time for one of our favorite segments here on Hall Talk, buying or selling. We'll start with the men's team from Media Day. They're picked to finish second in the conference. So are you guys buying that that's a good spot for them? It's the highest they've been since 2000, 2001. Matt, we'll start with you.
I'm going to buy it. I think they deserve it. I think that this team has put themselves in a position where they're going to compete with Villanova for a Big East championship. They are finally at that point. Villanova's been at the top of this conference regular season-wise ever since realignment. And now I think this is the first year since realignment that Villanova finally has, or is going to be tested at the top, not just Seton Hall. You got teams like Xavier up there, Providence. I mean, it's a top-heavy conference right now. I mean, top to bottom, it's a good conference. Yeah. But the top of this conference in 2017, 2018, very strong.
I'm definitely buying this team being in the top two. Like I said, they bring back most of their scoring, and they bring back leadership. And you can see how determined they are. And if you have arguably the best center in the nation, it always helps. So Angel Delgado coming back, going to lead this team. His decision to come back and not go into the NBA is huge, and I think the expectations are there, and they can compete with Villanova.
And Delgado said one of the reasons he came back is because he didn't feel comfortable with going to the draft. Every time he thought about going, it made him sick. He said it made him feel sick to his stomach. But he also seems to have a lot of confidence in this team, saying that it's either going to be winning a Big East championship is enough, winning one game in the Big East, in the NCAA tournament is enough, winning the whole thing is enough. Are you guys buying this confidence? Has this team earned that right to have that kind of confidence?
I'm not going to buy. I'll buy the confidence. I don't buy what he's preaching. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be exactly. I don't know if this team is Final Four, national championship caliber. Sweet 16, I think, was a fair expectation for this team. They've really grown together over the last couple of years. They know each other's tendencies, and with the additions they've made, and you said it, Angel Delgado has really developed into arguably the best big man in the nation. So with him leading this squad, a Sweet 16 berth, I think, but definitely they should be able to win. They have to. One game in this tournament at least.
I think the confidence, I like the confidence.
Exactly.
Angel Delgado saying that, but you have to win a tournament game first. I know they're coming back now seniors, and this is their now or never year, but you've lost the past 2 years in the first round of the tournament. You have to prove yourself first. I like how he goes out and is setting that precedent, but just slow down a bit and take it game by game throughout the season, and I think you'll be okay.
I agree with that. I would say that the confidence is certainly well-deserved for this Seton Hall men's basketball team. They've earned it the last 2 years. Let's look at the women's team. Coach Bozella, we mentioned it, said that Jones-Pack is the most improved defensively of the players on his squad. Obviously the deepest squad that he says he has had, and probably the best squad he says that he has had in his time here at Seton Hall. What do you guys make of that statement about Jones-Pack being the most improved defensively? Are you guys buying or selling that?
I love the confidence that Bozella is showing, but I have to sell it just simply because I haven't seen it from Jayla Jones-Pack in the past. I mean, maybe she has made these strides in her game that has led her to be, as Bozella said, perhaps the best defender in this conference, just a really improved player, but I need to see it out on the court. So at this time right now, I have to sell it.
I'm going to actually buy it. I'm going to disagree with Matt. I think she defensively, she has a lot of blocks per game. She led the team in blocks per game last season and had 11 multi-block games. So, and it's her time to shine. It's her time to step in now that Bird's gone, and she did it in high school. She won the Player of the Year in her region in high school and averaging a double-double. I think the experience is there, so I am confident she can be most improved defensively.
Can she grab rebounds?
That's
the big question.
Well, it's her task now.
That remains to be seen. We'll see what happens certainly when women's season kicks off shortly. What are you guys, last buying or selling women's basketball? Picked to finish 6th in the conference. Last year they finished towards the bottom of the conference in the bottom 3. Are you guys buying that they're going to move up that one spot? Or do you see them going maybe even farther with this if the Bozella confidence is deserved?
You're going to hear this a lot from me about stepping it up in the post. If they can, they could sneak into that top half of the conference. You said it. They finished sixth. They were voted sixth in the preseason polls at Media Day yesterday. If they can find that post presence that can really fill the void that Gordon left, I think they could sneak into the top 5 in this conference. If not, I see this team really struggling.
I think each year under Coach Pizzella, they've either met or exceeded expectations. So obviously he's a good coach. I understand it's guard heavy. I think Jill Jones-Pack has another year of experience under her belt. She can figure it out, and I think this team can finish in the top half.
You know, there's certainly going to be a whole lot to be seen from this Seton Hall men's and women's basketball teams. I mean, you look at Angel Delgado, his confidence obviously coming in. What do you guys make of the younger guys, though, on this team? Obviously, we haven't seen a whole lot for men's basketball, but we've heard a whole lot about them.
I think it just provides more depth. I mean, you said Miles Cale earlier. He brings an athletic presence off the bench for this team, a swing guard, also play a little bit of forward, has that size, and he just brings another element of athleticism to this team, something that Desi Rodriguez has brought the last couple of years. And also down low, you get Sandro Mamukalashvili, you get Romaro Gill, guys like that. You get more front court presence. That's something that we haven't seen in recruiting the last couple of years, and this year we're finally seeing it.
Dylan, what do you make of this women's team? Who are you most looking forward to on the Seton Hall women's basketball team to step up?
I think it has to start with your leader, so I'm going to say Jaquan Jackson. And I think she had a brilliant year last year in the top 10 in multiple categories in the Big East, but now it's your time to shine. I'm also looking if she can partner with Kayla Hilaire, who has another year of experience under her belt, so that'll be my answer.
Between Hilaire, Jackson, you have the transfers in Butina and Jimenez coming in, so we'll wait. It's certainly going to be a talented group of guards that this Coach Tony Bozzella team is going to have. So we'll obviously wait and see what happens when the season kicks off here in a few weeks. We're going to turn our attention now to men's soccer. They had their win streak snapped over the weekend when they went to last place Providence. They didn't play well. They lost 3-1. What did you guys make of that game in Providence? It just didn't seem like they had their footing under them the whole way.
No, not really. And I think they kind of lost what they had, the momentum they had from the 2 wins over Creighton and DePaul. They were outshot by the Friars 15-7. And also the undisciplined nature of that team kind of came back, got 3 yellow cards in that game. That's something that was a problem for them. When they got down in games, they lost their composure and they played too aggressively and got those cautions. That happened again at Providence. And also, they really didn't close the first half well at all. 2 goals in the final 6 minutes of the first half really dug themselves a hole they couldn't get out of.
And their 2 goals for Providence were off of set pieces. They got beat badly there. I think it was 8-6 in corner kicks in Providence's favor. The 39th minute goal was a long rebound off of a free kick, and then the goal just before half was a corner kick. So set pieces did not help the Seton Hall team at all and really cost them to the defeat.
All right, guys, real quick, since we're running out of time, what does this team have to do to slide into that 6th spot? They're 1 point out right now.
They got 2 home games, 2 road games left, but they play the top 2 teams in the conference, and then the other 2 games are against the teams they are tied with in the conference standings right now. All those games are huge. Xavier and Nova, the 2 teams they're tied with, they have to be wins.
And they have to rely on getting out fast. We've seen that struggle this year, and winning the set-piece battle because we saw that effect against Providence.
That's all the time we have here on Hall Talk this week. Make sure you tune in a few weeks to catch our preview of both men's and women's basketball for a full season preview. Thanks for tuning in.